Hey y'all. So come on in. I am trying to get us set up so we can actually see it. I'm going to be reading the letter from that was submitted for a mistrial by P. Diddy and his team. So come on in, hit the like button as you come in. Again, as we always state, since this trial has happened, that we will be having the link in the chat for you guys to come up and speak. We have amazing mods who will only good vibes over here. So our mods are watching out for that. But listen, we are trying to get wait a minute, that may not be it. No. No. That's not what we're looking for. You guys come on in. We're getting this letter. We're gonna get started in just a minute. We're trying to get the correct file up. It's giving us problems or may not be able to get it in, but we sure gonna try. If not, we'll just read it anyway so that you guys can so we can talk about it. Hi, Harlem. Let me get the link. Oh, wrong one. Hi, Alberta. Hi there. We missed you last night, but it was so late. It was a good conversation, though. You guys come on in, hit the like button. If you haven't already, when you come in, hit the subscribe button. Hey there, we got the juice. Girl. But we're trying to get it on the screen. If I can't get it on the screen, then we're just gonna have to. I'm just gonna read it anyway. So let me get the link down here. Copy. Shout out to Harlem for getting this information to us. I just saw it not too long ago. We would have been came on here, but you know, it is what it is. We here now. Hello, everybody. When you come in, say hi, hit the like. Good vibes only over here. If you want to come up on stage and talk about this with us, you are more than welcome. Let me see. For some reason, it ain't letting me put it up on the screen. Happy Saturday, y'all. I hope y'all had a good day today. It started out a little stormy on these parts of the wood, this neck of the woods, but you know. Oh. And then it was 90 degrees. So yeah, come on up. You know, if you want to talk about this this official letter to have them to request a mistrial. Give me just a second. We're working on it. BFF, girl. You came up. Oh my gosh. Yay. So we're going to talk about it. Harlem, I'm waiting on you. I'm trying to get it up here, but for some reason it's not letting me put it on the screen, so I may just have to read it otherwise. Y'all come on in, join us, join the channel for membership. Yes, thank you, Harlem. If you're not already a member, head over and join our membership for exclusives. So see, like things like this would be for members only, but because we're just now building the channel, we are of course allowing it for the public, but that's okay because we're gonna get there. Oh no. Come on in. We're going to let a few more people come in and out and get started. There, Harlem is. Hey, Harlem.
Hey, I was trying to wait to see if you was going to get the letter up.
Hey, Montana. I'm trying. So when I go to grab it, it's just grayed out where it won't let me snag it and bring it in. So let me try one more thing. If not, I'll just read it. I want to put it up here though. Let me try it again.
Okay.
Montana, I know what today was, and so I hope all is well with you and your family. We've been thinking about you. So I want to present, and I want to put an image. Let me try that. And I want to do it from my desktop. Bam. Come on. Desktop. It ain't doing it. Dang it. Hey, everybody, come on in. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Let's see. Let us in. It ain't let me. It just stays grayed out. I know it was, Montana. All right, so it's not letting me in. I can't hold y'all, too much more longer. We got to talk about this. So I'm gonna go ahead. So anyway, welcome to the Black Link Experience with Phases After Dark. We are so excited to be here. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming. And we're gonna talk about it. So just to recap, we have been following the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial since the beginning. And we talked about like the witnesses, and we would always recap and give our opinions about what we thought about if we're getting enough information to reach the RICO, if we got enough information where we see coercion and bribery and all those things. We had the last witness that is on the stage is Bona, which is Cassie Ventura's best friend. Well, Jane is the last. Let me back up. The last person we saw on Friday on the stand was Jane, who was witness number 4. But prior to her was Cassie Ventura's best friend, Bona. Brianna is her name. And she's the one that alleges that Sean Combs held her over a balcony for however many times he could say, you know what the F you did. So during her testimony, we were like, we liked Bona. We liked the things she was bringing. She was a little bit better than Mia because we know Mia just was struggling a little bit. But we kind of liked what she was saying, but she wasn't giving us enough, right? Well, when it was time for the defense to cross-examine her, like they tore into her, especially about the part of him dangling her over the balcony and, you know, holding her over the balcony. How it was Cassie there? Did Cassie see it? All these things. So today, Harlem finds, Harlem, thank you for sharing with us. We get the letter where Diddy and his team has filed for a mistrial. And so we got the official letter. We're going to read the letter. We're going to talk about it. And I did a little short that's getting ready to post about this, but I had said that I was good. They had locked it in, you know, the charges, they locked it in. They got 2 of the 10 that they need under the RICO and all that. But then as I started, you know, listening further to testimonies, I was kind of on the fence. I was like, probably they do, but I don't know. And I said also that at any moment there could be a mistrial. They could be a filing for a mistrial. And here we are today. So because we can't bring it on the screen, I'm going to have to figure out how I can read it with you guys on here still. So I'm going to just pull it up and we'll just read it from here. I'm sorry y'all can't see it, but I tried. All right, so let's get started. So this comes from Shapiro Arato Bach LLP. So this is from his lawyers, and it says via EFC. So I guess that's an electronic filing. Honorable Aaron Subramanian. And it says all that stuff. United States versus Combs, 24 CR 542. Don't do that. Okay, it's better. So it says, Dear Judge Subramanian, the defense respectfully submits this letter in support of its renewed motion for a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct. When the introduction of perjured testimony results in a criminal conviction and the prosecution knew or should have known of the perjury, the conviction must be set aside if there is any reasonable likelihood that the false testimony could have affected the judgment of the jury. United States versus Wallach 935 F2D 445, all that cleaned up. Accord United States versus Walter. Moreover, the prosecutor's knowing use of perjured testimony can violate the due process clause, even if only it undermines a witness's credibility. United States versus Cromati, don't know how to say that. United States versus Aguirre, somebody. And then, as the Supreme Court has explained, a lie is a lie, no matter what the subject, and if it is any way relevant to the case, the district attorney has the responsibility and duty to correct what he knows to be false and to elicit the truth. Napa versus Illinois, NAPUE. I don't know that I said that right either. 360 US 264 269-70, emphasis added. So, as explained below, in this trial, the government has presented testimony that it knew or should have known was materially false related to its allegation that Mr. Combs dangled Brianna Bongolan from the balcony of Cassie Ventura's apartment in September 2016. Accordingly, to avoid an unfair conviction in this case, the court should grant a mistrial. Yikes, y'all, yikes. Let's move on. The government contends the alleged balcony incident is relevant because it shows Mr. Combs' violence. It shows Mr. Combs' violence directed not only to Miss Ventura, but to other people around Miss Ventura. She is aware of the violence, and because of her awareness, it goes to coercion. The incident was alleged in disturbing and powerful evidence, and the government has used it to depict Mr. Combs in an extremely negative light as an angry and dangerous man who terrified Miss Ventura and her friends. The prosecutors elicited evidence about this allegation from both Miss Ventura and Miss Bongolan that it demonstrably false in key respects. I don't know if I said that word right. Then they doubled down, using the false testimony to obtain a ruling admitting inadmissible hearsay evidence about it as well, all to present a false narrative to the jury. The government started by eliciting testimony from Ms. Ventura about the allegation that cannot be true. Ms. Ventura says she actually saw Mr. Combs holding Ms. Bongolan over the balcony railings. She said, I saw him bring her back over the railing of the balcony and then throw her onto the patio furniture. Yet, the prosecutors knew she had not actually seen what she described because they had in their possession a text conversation demonstrating that Ms. Ventura was told about the alleged incident by another unidentified person. CGXC 361C. Hey, here's the text message. Hey, I found out some crazy I'm just finding it out right now. Nonetheless, they allowed Ms. Ventura to continue to insist on cross she had witnessed the incident. CTR 1069. And the question was, and you testified that you saw him throw her onto the patio furniture, right? Ms. Ventura says, yeah. The defense says he brought her back over the balcony and threw her down. He said she persisted in this story even after she was confronted by the text messages. Oh, Lord, y'all. CTR 1071. The question is, isn't it true that you learned about this incident on the balcony after the fact? Ms. Ventura said, I saw what I saw, so I don't know. The question from defense says, has the government in your preparation for your testimony in this case gone over this particular message with you? And the answer was no, not this one. This is all bad, y'all. This ain't good. The government left the jury with the false impression that Ms. Ventura saw Mr. Combs dangle her friend over the balcony and that this made her fearful of him, when in fact, if there was any incident, Ventura merely heard about it afterwards, considerably lessening any probative value as to her state of mind. Next, the government doubled down by presenting perjured testimony from Bongolan intended to corroborate Ventura's false testimony. Bongolan claimed Combs lifted her up and held her feet over the balcony railing, TR 428-86, and that this caused injuries to the back of my leg and the back of my neck. The back of my leg and back of my, the back of my leg and back and neck pain. Bongolan was very definitive about these injuries, and particularly the bruise on her leg, which was one of the details that stick out in her mind. All right, so as the government also knows, like other witnesses in the case, Ventura and Bongolan have been in frequent contact at key points and have had opportunities to collaborate other stories. And in fact, Bongolan admitted the two friends discussed this incident before and after Ventura filed her lawsuit, TR 4349-50. Bongolan also has an enormous financial motive to lie because she filed a $10 million lawsuit against Mr. Combs based on the same allegation and will benefit by exaggerating the scope of her injuries to obtain damages. Her account makes no sense and seems to be physically impossible. Mr. Combs is only about 6 feet tall, and even if he is bigger than her, TR 4286, he is not tall enough to have been able to hold a shorter adult by her armpits so high that her feet would have been on the balcony railing. That makes sense, y'all. As Bongolan testified, TR 4286, the California law required balcony railings to have a minimum height of 42 inches. See 2016 California Residential Code, Chapter 13, R. 312.1.2. They are on it. So this is page 3 of 6. Where did you go after you left Cassie's apartment? This is between the defense and Bongolan or Bona. Where did you go after you left Cassie's apartment? I went to her apartment. After you left Cassie's apartment, I went to my apartment. What did you do at your apartment? I was shaking a lot, and then I wanted to take a shower because I felt disgusted. And then I looked over behind my leg and I see a huge bruise. We'll talk about the bruise in just a moment. Miss Bongolan, do you remember all the details of the incident that night? She said no. Do the details that you talked about stick out in your mind? Yes. What, if any, physical injuries did you have as a result of that night? I had that big bruise with it was like a piercing in the middle of it. And then I had back and neck pain, and it stops there. TR 4289. The government next introduced photographs of the injuries Ms. Bongolan supposedly sustained at the hands of Mr. Combs, including GX3S-102A. A photo depicting the leg injury taken on remember this, y'all. The leg taken on September the 26th, 2016 at 9:45 a.m. Ms. Bongolan testified that she took the photos of her leg injury around that time, indicated in the exhibit TR 4291 that she did so the same day as the incident and that she got the injury from being thrown on the balcony furniture. TR 4290. On cross, she confirmed that the balcony incident happened early in the morning, that the photo of the leg bruise was taken later that day, TR 4475, and that the injuries to her back and her leg happened on the same day, TR 4477. The government then introduced photographs of the injuries supposedly sustained at the hands of Mr. Combs during the incident. The government knew, or should have known, this testimony was perjured and that Ms. Bongolan could not possibly have been injured by Mr. Combs on a Los Angeles balcony in the early hours of September 26th, or even the day before that. The government has long known that Mr. Combs was on the East Coast in late September, and specifically at around the time of this alleged incident. The government knew that he had stayed at Trump Hotel in New York City between September 24th through September 29th. Remember the date? September 26th is when it was supposed to happen, but he was alleged to be on the East Coast September 24th through 29th, 2016. In fact, the government had marked as GX7Y111 the records of this hotel stay, which are now in evidence. And it has had other evidence in its possession for some time showing Mr. Combs' travel schedule and proving that he was on the East Coast when it told the jury he dangled Ms. Bongolan over a balcony in front of Ms. Ventura. And then we got some things blacked out. I wonder what that's about. What's more, when the defense began to expose the perjury on cross-examination, the government repeatedly attempted to disrupt the cross with unfounded objections and requests for sidebars. Example, TR 4489. And unfounded claims such as the proper leading questions meant defense counsel was testifying. Then, despite having elicited Ventura's false testimony about having directly witnessed the alleged incident, the government persuaded the court to admit the hearsay text messages with Coram, Christina Coram, which is KK, describing that Ventura had found out from someone else, despite having elicited perjurious testimony from Ventura claiming she saw the alleged conduct. All of this was highly improper and exacerbated the harm caused by suborning the perjured testimony. It bears emphasis that the use of the perjured testimony regarding the balcony incident is just one example of the prosecutorial misconduct during this trial. The defense previously moved for a mistrial based on the improper line of questioning related to the 2012 destruction of fingerprints provided by Scott Miscati to the LAPD. I'm going to read that again. The defense previously moved for a mistrial. So this is the second time they've moved for a mistrial, but the first time was that they moved for a mistrial because they had gotten rid of those fingerprints. As the court will recall, the defense argued that the government's motive in eliciting this testimony was to create an unfounded and highly prejudicial inference that Mr. Combs somehow had corruptly arranged for the destruction of the fingerprints. The government claimed that was not the purpose of its question, TR 1902, and the court denied the motion, TR 1903 through 04, and instead gave a narrow limiting instruction. However, it became apparent shortly thereafter during the questioning of Mia the very next day that, in fact, the government's motive all along must have been to suggest that Mr. Combs had corrupt influence over the LA authorities when it tried to create the impression that he was responsible for the destruction of the fingerprints. Specifically, the government elicited testimony from Mia about 2 incidents in which the LAPD did not issue a ticket for speeding after she was pulled over because the officers found out she worked for Mr. Combs. In one case, Mia got pulled over speeding, name dropped that her boss was Mr. Combs, and got him on the phone, after which the officer was like, saying like, oh my God, Puff Daddy, I love you. Like, just went into the whole very excited conversation, and then she let him go. TR 3345. The second, we're almost done. The second time Combs was in the car, and once they saw Puff, they were like, oh, my bad, yeah, and left us alone. TR 3346. The prosecutor took special care to emphasize that these incidents occurred in Los Angeles, TR 3346. So the question was to Bonna, what city did these interactions with the police occur in? She said LA. These incidents in isolation seem like benign examples of policing giving lenient treatment to popular famous people, coupled with the sinister implications of the fingerprint destruction. However, they create a strong implication that the reason Mia, and as the government will surely argue, other alleged victims didn't go to the police was because Mr. Combs' corrupt influence over the police and the LAPD in particular. In other words, the subsequent questioning of Mia, even if itself permissible, further corroborates that the government's real purpose in its questioning for the fire inspector, Lance Gemini's, was to improperly suggest that Mr. Combs corruptly caused the destruction of fingerprints. This constitutes another instance of prosecutorial misconduct. Accordingly, the court should grant a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct, respectively submitted Alexandria Asa Shapiro, Jason Driscoll, Shapiro Artro Bach LLP, Mark Egnafilio, Teeny Garagos, Anna Estavo, Brian Steele, Xavier Donaldson, Nicole Westmoreland. The end. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in the chat, y'all. What is it? What are y'all thinking? Who wants to go first? Is Willie not here? Because he really needs to be in here tonight. I really thank you. Okay, we said that. Please hit the like button. Can y'all hear me? Are we here?
So I'll say something.
Okay, let's talk. I was like, don't tell me I read all that and nobody heard nothing.
No, we can hear you. I'm nobody seems to be interacting in chat, but okay. I think that the judge may grant the mistrial in all honesty, because if the government knew of the text messages, and if Cassie and Banya were talking, witnesses, they're not supposed to talk while all of this is going on. They're not supposed to talk about the case until after the fact.
You are
So
so
I think it may work in his favor. And as far as the LAPD, I never connected that to that, them questioning her about those traffic stops and whatever. I didn't
Mhm.
connect it to the fire marshal guy being the fingerprints being, disappearing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
So
yeah, so here's my opinion about it. I think that they he has a brilliant team. This letter was written brilliantly. It gave reference to it gave what they're requesting, and it gave references for why they're requesting it. And it tells you, it allows them to go and see for themselves that what we're saying is true. And if we are honest, if we're being honest, he's right. Like, what really is huge for me here is that, like, right, the ordinance for the balcony, right? Even though he's a 6 foot guy, how you raise an adult, whether she was short or not, up that high, if that was the ordinance for the balcony and your feet are dangling over. So, like, you have to take account for that. And then also, if Cassie was in fact, now they're communicating, right? Like you said, and like the letter says, they're communicating, not supposed to be talking about the trial at all. And so were they really trying to get their stories together? But only to find out that Cassie, I'm thinking she was there, but this is saying in her text message to KK, she just found this out. Like, not that do you believe what I just saw? I just found this, you're not going to believe what I found, that whatever she said, right? So if if I was the judge reading this, and I've been sitting in that courtroom this entire time, and they have all their their I's dotted, their T's crossed in this request, and he may very well walk. They may very well grant him the mistrial, and that'll be the end of it all.
but that's going to be sad for all of those people that came forward.
It's going to be sad for all the people that came forward. And then what about now? Are they going to be worried about their safety? Are they going to be worried about being harassed? There's a lot that they put on the line for this. But this is how the court works. The defense don't come to lose. They come to do their due diligence, put in the work, whatever that looks like, to win the case, whether they win by mistrial or a guilty finding. I mean, a not guilty finding. And they are putting in overtime. These lawyers submitted this today. And so I'm telling you, the way that they wrote it was so brilliant. They got it together. They got their stuff together, and they are presenting in a way that, how can you say this is not a mistrial? Well, on the basis of what can you come back with now to say that we're not going to grant you a mistrial because what? So how do they defend this is my question. That would be my question. Like, how do you come back and defend it?
Yeah, I really don't know if they can, because they said in the letter that the government had all of this text message and information as far as his travel, that he was on the East Coast. They had that for months,
For
so they
months.
were aware of it.
Yep, they had it for months and so for me, like, how do you ignore that? Like, y'all know better, right? If you had that in your possession for months and you've known that, you had to know. And then for her to say that they hadn't discussed that part with her, they're supposed to share that information, or would think, before you put a witness on the stand, that this is what they're saying. Now you got to tell me so we know how to move forward. Don't just get up there saying something that didn't really happen. And now here we are with a request for mistrial. Bridget said, he said, I don't believe that they will give him a mistrial. Justice is blind and corrupt. They want Diddy so bad they will find a way. I don't trust the government. And I get that. And that's what, I wish you would have been here last night, because that's what Willie was saying. He was like, listen, they are so thirsty to have him, to find him guilty on something. They want him to go down. And he was saying that they were prejudiced, that they were corrupt, that he don't like he don't like foul play when it comes to the justice system. And that's what the experience has always been, is that it has been a corrupt government. And that at some point that they're so thirsty, they're going to do whatever they can to hold this man down. But if we step back and we're being really neutral down the middle and say that it's not, and we're not being a corrupt court, right? We're not being a corrupt justice system. Would you say, Bridget, that this should be a mistrial with what you've read and the evidence that I've read and given you guys? Do you think that if we're not being corrupt or being shiesty, should this be a mistrial? Anybody can come up on the stage if you want to, and let's talk about it. But I started reading it, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna wait to read it with you guys. So I'm just kind of, so I agree. Yeah. So I just was like, let me read it with everybody else so we can talk about it. But I was just shocked as I went down through there that they had this information for some time now, and for it to only come to this now. What's the problem here? Like, who's dropping the ball? What is the problem? But yes, we're just saying, if it was not corrupt, then yeah, it should be a mistrial. Like, he should walk Monday. And he very may well still walk. But again, a lot of people are saying that they didn't come for him to not have him convicted of something. They filed the paperwork with precision and good timing. Yes, I think so. I mean, listen, the witnesses that they have brought in so far have been a little shaky. Like, the last few have been a little shaky, and we're like, I don't know now. Like, we hear the information, but I just don't know if these are the right people that they should have had on the stand for this, right? And so they did what the defense did what they came to do. They're doing what they came to do. And that's to win this case. And again, I'll say, whether it's by mistrial or whether it's by finding him not guilty. And they have been on top of it. They've been coming back. They've been a little weak on some instances, but lately they've been tearing into these witnesses. They have been tearing into these witnesses. And now only to come, and I said it, any day they could file a mistrial, and here we are. So it remains to be seen. And I know all eyes will be tuned in on Monday. People gonna get to that courthouse 10 hours early, waiting to get in. Like,
everybody.
Like, you think it was chaos so far. What about chaos on Monday?
Everybody is going to be there trying to get in.
Everybody's going to be there early. They're going to pay the amount of money these people want to stand in that line, because they want inside the courtroom. Forget the overflow. They want in that courtroom because they want to see his facial expression when it happens, if it happens. Either way, like, what are they going? How? I'm just trying to think. Bridget, you're really brilliant, and you know the law. This is why I wish you was up here. But how do you think that the prosecution will come? I mean, how can they come back to deny a motion that is written so precisely and so timely and so brilliant? I believe that it is. I just want to know, like, I'm trying to think, what could they come back and say? What could they come back and say to trump what is being presented here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that they could say, because they documented everything. The transcripts, the text messages, they documented everything in the letters. So I don't know if there's anything that they could really come back with.
Yeah, whenever they wrote this, they went and did their research, and they had other cases to present that happened like this, right? The same exact, and I forget what you call when they do that. Bridget, do you know, like, when they present something like in this situation, then there's other cases that have come before them that it was in the same situation and it became a mistrial. There she is. Can you hear us, Bridget? Can you hear us? Bridget? Oh, she went away. Come back up, Bridget, if you want. Anybody that's here that you know you have an opinion, either drop it in the chat. Let's talk about it in the chat, or come up on stage. Like, we will be here until the mistrial, if it happens, or until we continue on with the trial. Either way, we are inviting you up on the stage or in the chat to talk about it with us. I'm sure that you guys have your opinions too. We would love to hear them. We would love to hear them. But either way, when you come in, please hit the like to keep us in the algorithm and for support. And that's a free way to support the channel. And also, if you haven't, hit subscribe and subscribe to our channel. Our memberships are now open. These kind of talks, these exclusives that we have, and there will be a ton more. That's when we'll have members only. So you want to become a member. Alberta, thank you for being a member. Harlem, thank you for being a member to this channel. I know Bridget will become a member sooner or later. So, oh, dang it. She said her Wi-Fi is messing up, so she can't talk. So what my question was to you, Bridget, is, like, you know how they present something to either get it thrown out or find somebody. Let's try it again. See if it works. Mine was messing up early too, my Wi-Fi. So,
okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Laura?
Can you hear us?
I'm coming in and out. I'm coming in and out. My Wi-Fi. I'm close to it, but it's messing up.
Yes, it feels like I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly, but it does seem like you're far away. So yeah, my question was, go ahead.
He's got a mistrial. They've got the paperwork down to a T, but the government, they're going to dig down deep and they're going to find cases before him that had the same kind of mistrials. They're going to pull out all the big guns on this one tomorrow, on Monday. It's going to be a shit show for real. And they're going to find every way they can not to give this man a mistrial, because his defense team has dotted every I. They've got it down. They've got him. So there's no way that I see how they can get out of this.
There's no way.
I'm telling you, there's gonna be some foul play. Watch. It's gonna be.
I wish Willie was here, because he feels the same way about you, about the government, right? But I'm with you. And Harlem, you can jump in here too. I am with you in the fact that this should be a mistrial for sure. And I'm with you in the fact that it's going to be chaos on Monday, regardless whether he get a mistrial or if he's not granted that. It's going to be crazy. But like we said, and like you said, just to piggyback on that, these lawyers were brilliant. They brilliantly presented this to the courts. How can you not give him a mistrial? But like you said, they're going to dig in the weeds. They're going to pull up cases before. I forget what you call that, but it's something you call it. And they're going to show where even the prosecution is going to show where this scenario has happened before. And here's all these cases that did not get granted a mistrial. And this is why. But I do bet you this, the defense is ready for them. It just looks like it. It feels like it.
Yeah.
What you got, Harlem?
And
I think
Bridget, was you saying something?
She was saying, was she saying something?
I thought she was saying something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've been going through all the charges that he have listed down, and they got all these federal charges against him. And and that's another thing, that he's guilty on a lot of state charges. The charges they got, the racketeering, the RICO, and the trafficking and all that, that's a hard case to build. A hard case. And they've got a lot of stuff on him, but like you said, all the witnesses are wishy-washy, and Some of them I listened to, and some of them, they had some good stuff. Cassie probably was the best one, but
Yeah.
in my opinion, by looking at state and versus federal, they had a better chance if the state would have picked up the charges on him. They'd have got him on charges. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. My thing is, either way, they're gonna have a hard time not declaring this a mistrial. But if they don't declare it a mistrial, they got a hard time getting him with all of these charges to make it into bribery. That's somewhat, it's just a lot. They've got to do a lot more than what they've done to get all the federal charges to stick on him, or at least one of them.
Right. And before the trial even started, it was talk like the feds don't come unless they got a good, solid, knock the ball out the park, right? And usually that's what it is. But so far, I have not.
Yep.
Like you said, I've been on the fence, off the fence, on the fence, off the fence. The witnesses have been so weak lately that I don't know. Harlan, what was you gonna say?
No, I was going to say, I think the charges are state charges, but everything was past the statute of limitations. So that's why they went with the RICO, because the RICO is the 10-year time frame.
Right. So even if you're right, like had they brought the domestic violence and all that stuff up prior to the statute of limitations, he would have been. That's knocking out the ballparks of charges, right? So even I agree, Bridget, with you. Even if they don't mistrial, they're going to have a hard time finding him guilty on a lot of these charges because of this right here.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree.
So, oh no, it remains to be seen. But I know I'll be watching. I'll be watching. I got to know firsthand.
Yeah, because Monday is going to be hot.
Harlan, I know you going down there, right?
No. But I said last week when all of those distractions were going on, the lady in the courtroom and the lady outside, and it was just too much going on. I said something is about to happen.
And here we are. And you did.
Yeah.
We said it. Like, where's this woman coming from out of the blue? Like, why is all this chaos? Excuse me. Why is all this chaos outside? Like, what is about to happen? I don't know. But now we know that they were preparing, and they already had filed for a mistrial, and it didn't work for whatever reasons. I can't remember, but I'm sure we know why they didn't grant the mistrial at that time. But they were not going to stop. I knew they were going to bring a mistrial. And I said at any moment it would be a mistrial. And here we are. Here we are. It would be a request for a mistrial. And here we are. Yeah.
Well, Marva, I'm 2 hours away from it. And I've been trying to get this man to take me. He said I was too nosy. Working on TV.
You know what? I should have came and stayed with you so we could go over there.
I could have drove. I told him, I said, I'm gonna go give me a hotel room, and just stay there, man. And he said, now that's nosy, Bridget.
I should have came. I was telling Harlan, I was like, well, you know what? I should go at least for one day of it. But it got so crazy out there. I was like, I want to be a part of that. Let me just stay in my lane. But I would have wanted to go. But if I would have went,
if you would have came, I'd have met you.
Bridget, I'm on my way. Get over here now. Yeah.
Yep. I'm coming. Yep.
So anyway, we'll see how it's going to pan out. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be up early Monday. It's going to be interesting. And so that's what we have. That's where we at. I just wanted to come tonight live earlier so that we could get on top of this and talk about it. I appreciate everybody that's come, that stopped by. If you didn't get to make it to our live.
Can I ask something before you end though?
Oh yeah, we can keep going. I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere.
Oh, I just want to know. So if it's a mistrial, they can come back with the charges, correct?
How that work, Bridget?
Can they?
Yes, they can refile some more charges on him.
So then
I don't
Maybe
know
they're.
about the Fed, but I don't know about Fed, but in state, if it's a mistrial, they can come back in state. They can come back with another trial.
But what are
Mistrial
they going to charge
in
him in?
state court, they can come back.
But what are they
In
going to?
state,
What
I
are
don't
they?
know about Feds. I don't know about the Fed.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, what are they going to file or come back in state for when we've missed the statute of limitation on that? But you're just saying in a state
So they
court,
can't
if
in
it's a
state.
yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying.
I
I don't know about federal
Yes.
either. That's a good question. I'm going to ask the lawyer. Let me write it down.
Yeah, because I would think they would be able to come back, but it'll just be like a new jury. They would have to go through the jury process again.
Yep. That's true. That's how they do it in the state, Harlem. That's how they do it in the state. If it's a mistrial, you come back to court. It's up to the DA, the prosecutors,
Mhm.
to ask for mistrial, ask for another stuff, ask for it to come back in with some new charges, new trial date.
And so that means that they have to have all new juries and everything. Well, yeah, because then now we got
start all over
jurors
again.
that have sat in the trial the whole time. Yeah, you would have to have new jurors.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So that means he's going to leave the country. If he gets off, if they do a mistrial,
He's
and
out.
he has time outside, he's out of here.
He's going where Ray J went. No, just these is jokes. Ray J said he leaving the country, y'all. Oh Lord. Hey, so you guys, thank you, Harlan, for the membership. She has gifted one membership. And so again, I'll say I'm not the one that gives the gift to whoever they get it. YouTube just shares with people that interacts in the comments. So there is a gifted, this is the second one she's gifted. So I'm excited about it. Thank you, Harlem, so much.
I just figure if I gift a few memberships, once you start doing your exclusive content, that you'll have some people.
And we'll have enough to engage in the exclusive room.
Right.
Yeah. Can I gift one? Like, can I do it too?
I think you should be able to, because I know there's a channel that I go on that she gives memberships like the beginning of every month.
Okay. That's what I'll do, like one a month or something. Yeah. All right, y'all. Anything else? Anything else before we go? Because I'll be making shorts all night, posting shorts. Anything? I'm trolling YouTube tonight. I'm going for the information. Harlem got superpowers. That's why. Yeah. So if nothing else, we'll be back here tomorrow because I know we'll have a ton of information from other people tonight, Harlem. We're gonna do our homework. Bridget, if you hear anything, you over there on the East Coast, anything, y'all know, and just send it to me. But we'll be back here tomorrow talking about it further if we have anything new. Other than that, y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all being here.
Okay, good night.
All right. Good night, ladies. Good night.
Good night. Thank y'all.